What's up, guys? Welcome back to Sharpen podcast. Today we are on episode 52. Your choices make your life. Okay, I'm here with the number one co-host in the world, Giovanni Jimenez. What it do, Gio?
Hey.
How's everything going?
It's all good in the hood.
That's good. Guys, today is episode 52. Your choices make your life. Okay. Last episode I jacked up. I said it's 52, but it's actually 51. Okay, so this is the real 52. We are going to talk about why your choices make your life, okay? Because so many people talk about, why do I have this life? Or how did I end up here? Or why did I get this result? Or why I don't have this result? Or why am I living the way I'm living? Or why do I feel this way? And they think it just happened to them. Like this was just thrown at them, okay? Your life, guys, your life is the outcome, the results of the choices that you made on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis, on a decade basis, okay? And that's what your life is, okay? So every choice that you make in life, there's a consequence or there's a reward. It's either good or bad. Every single choice that you make in life will have an outcome. And over the years, those outcomes accumulate to the life that you have, okay? So you have to look at what choices you make on a daily basis, the lifestyle that you're living. Your life doesn't just end up the way it is overnight or magically. It ends up the way it is from the choices that you made over a long period of time. Small choices, big choices. All of these choices have something to do with your life.
100%. And there's a quote where it's like, your life is just an accumulation of choices and decisions that you've made.
Yep.
And then, but what's crazy to me is like people will put in all this energy. For example, like I'm picking the right car, right? Like, oh, gotta make sure the salesman don't screw me. Gotta make sure the dealership don't screw me. Now, granted, sometimes it might happen, but or they put all this time to deciding what house to get, but they won't put that amount of time into deciding like what lifestyle should he live. What spouse should he choose. And all these important things, minor details are like, what should I feed my brain? Like in the morning, right? I like watching politics, right? But I don't comment, because if you get into the whole shouting match, you're done, right? But every morning I'll wake up, right? And YouTube would just put these news clips in front of me, right? News. It was all like trying to make you upset. And then I like, bro, and I call myself, I'm like, look what you're feeding your brain right early in the morning. And early in the morning is when you're most receptive to learn. Mm-hmm. And so, and I started putting motivation, right? Like Jim Ron and all these other guys. But that was a conscious decision that I made that I was able to catch myself. For a couple of weeks, I was listening to news. But that alone, that small decision could change your whole path during the day. Mm-hmm. And these are things that people don't really think about. People think more about what should I have for lunch instead of what should I feed my mind today? What should I consume my mind?
Yep. And that's a big deal, okay? Because life doesn't happen to you in response to what you choose repeatedly, nonstop, over and over again, okay? So if you choose to watch the politics and infect your mind, kill your brain, upset your brain, get your brain riled up, stressed out, emotionally charged over politics first thing in the morning when the brain is powerful, the brain is healthy, it's strong. You have a lot of thinking power in the morning, okay? And you choose this over and over again, and you wonder why you wake up grumpy, or you go to work grumpy, or you go to work upset, and you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. What was the choice that you made in the morning? To watch something, to read something that gets you upset. That was the choice that you made that morning, okay? So a lot of people don't pay attention to choices they make. Just like you said, they'll put into buying a house, buying a car, right? They put a lot of choice into that, a lot of thinking. But the other things that they do, okay? On a smaller level, what time do they wake up? We had this incident yesterday, right? I was telling you about it, about somebody not waking up early or whatnot. What time you wake up? What time do you eat? What do you eat? Do you have a schedule to eat? Do you work out? What time do you work out? Okay? All these kind of stuff are small decisions, but these small decisions turn into big things. Okay, having a routine on what time you wake up. I wake up 5 a.m. I wake up 6 a.m. Okay, whatever the time is. I have a routine to wake up. I follow my routine. Now, it may seem like, what's the point of waking up at 6 or 7 or 5 over and over again? That's a choice that you made. That's discipline. That's routine. This is going to pay off later on in the day. This is going to pay off later off in the week. Okay? What do you eat? The small choices you make of eating. Yesterday morning, I'll give you an example. I hate cooking. I cannot stand it. Like, I honestly get mad about it. Like, I can't stand it. And I wanted to go to a restaurant and get something fast. Got caught up. Didn't have time to make the breakfast time, right? And I was like, well, I'm going to go get something quick. And I'm like, bro, just go make eggs. I'm going to make eggs and turkey bacon, right? And it was like, that was a choice I made. Either have the fast food, feel like crap, or go eat something clean at home, come back and work out. I went, ate something clean, felt good, came back and worked out. Now, if I ate the fast food, I don't think I would have came back and worked out, or I would have dragged it out. You know what I mean? So it may seem like it's not a big deal, but that's a big deal. Over time, that adds up. Especially if you're an entrepreneur, especially if you have a career, you have to be able to perform. And so eating, waking up, working out, these may seem like small actions, but these are small actions with big rewards if you do them. You know, and people don't pay attention to the choices they make, and they don't understand what that choice can do. What is the outcome of that choice?
Yeah.
And the problem is, usually, you don't see the outcome of that choice until years later. After years of doing the same bad thing over and over again. Or making the same wrong choice, bad choice over and over again. Okay?
Yeah.
That's the smaller level. You know? The bigger level is, you know, what do you do for work? What do you choose to do for work? What do you do for a living? Who do you surround yourself with? The relationships. Who do you surround yourself with, right? These are bigger scale things, you know? Where do you put a lot of your time? Partying or your family and your career, right? These are big decisions. These things can alter your life in a magnificent way.
100%.
You know?
And these are all like we talked about. These are there's micro and there's macro, right? And then like you said, when people think about macro, they think about big events like who you marry, what house you buy, what career you choose, right? What college you go to,
Where you live,
right? And people always think about these. These are like, oh, these are the macro ones, right? But the real macro ones, right? Is like you said, is like what time you wake up, what content do you consume, you know, what food you eat. Like those are ones that are micro, right? And when you look at them, like, oh, those are small decisions, yeah. But those have the biggest impact. Cause and this is fun. This is interesting. Cause like a lot of times, when I was first like getting into self-development, it's like getting better. It's not an event. Like first time you work out, you feel great, or you do jiu-jitsu and you feel great. Like you feel accomplished. It was like okay, that was an event for me. Okay, now you gotta do it again and again and again and again. Like damn, that's what you. I can't just do it once, and I can't just do abs once and already have a six pack. Like, I gotta do it consistently. But what do you say is one of the most like underrated things that people, like decisions that people do on a daily basis, that are overlooked? They're I could say underrated. They're not looked at as important when it comes to the impact to the future.
Man, that's a tough one. I would say something they overlook on a daily basis that impacts them big in the future. It can be a lot of things. It can be not catching your mind, right? What does your mind feed you on a daily basis? How do you relay that information, that connection, right? Your mind is speaking negative or weak, right? Or it's talking you out of things, okay? Because this happened to me, right? It's talked me out of a lot of things for a very long time. And why? Because I was afraid. So I did not pay attention to it. Okay, so being aware of your mind is it may seem like it's, who's aware of their mind? I'll tell you who is. Very rare people. You know? these are small things that, when I say small, these are daily things, daily battles. Not necessarily like a career change. Career change happens once every blue moon. These days, shit, it happens every month, right?
Yeah.
But really, it happens years on end. Years. It's a rotation. 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, 2 years, 3 years. In these days, the years is coming less and less. But that's a big thing. Buying a house. You're not buying a house every day. Okay? So that's the difference between micro and macro, guys. Micro is the things that you do on a daily basis. Like brushing your teeth. That's a micro thing you do every single day. You don't brush your teeth, you're going to have some dragon breath. Okay?
Yeah.
You ain't nobody going to be talking to you. You're going to have to kind of put the hand on your mouth, right? That's a daily thing. Okay? Working out is a daily thing. Most people overlook working out, specifically young men. Okay? Young men overlook the importance of working out, of keeping the body strong. Part of being a man is you need a strong body, right? The good thing about working out, it feeds the mind, it feeds the body. Young men overlook the benefits of working out. There is a lot of people that work out, don't get me wrong, but overall, majority, they overlook the importance of working out, sticking to a routine, a workout routine, okay? For health, for mental health, for physical health, for strength, you know, for defense, for the family, for wife, for girlfriend, for kids. You have to be strong. These are small things that can screw you over later on. I told somebody yesterday, like, bro, if you're not in shape, you think you're going to protect your wife? This was last week, not yesterday. You think you're going to protect your wife? You don't train. You don't lift. You don't take care of your body. You don't have a strong body. Do you truly think you're capable of protecting your wife?
Well, you're going to say yeah.
Most people will say yes, but the truth is you're not. I'll answer that for you, and I can show it to you. You know what I mean? And so people overlook things like that, okay? The big one is the mind, overlooking the mind, right? Not aware of what your mind is feeding you. Sometimes the mind, doesn't matter how healthy you are, the mind talks negative, speaks negative. It convinces you to do things out of what you want. You know, if I want to do this, it'll convince you not to do it because of fear. It's trying to protect you. Or because it's hard. And you end up making this choice on a year-end basis, you know, and not ending up doing what you wanted to do. But these choices were made every single day because your mind took over every single day, you know. Or on a daily basis, your character is being broken down. Your morals are being broken down by small actions on a daily basis. Maybe, you know, scrolling social media, right? Here I am scrolling social media, and maybe, you know, I'm looking at bad stuff. And I do this on a daily basis. Like, oh, I'm just on Instagram. And on Instagram, it's all these girls that are naked. Right?
Yeah.
And so it's like I might be in a relationship. But I'm doing it. Well, this is over time. This is going to break you down. This is going to separate you and your lady. Or you and your man. But it's a small choice I make every single day. To be on social media scrolling for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. Or replying to stories. Or messaging people. And it may be like I'm not even messaging for anything, right? But these are small things that can add up to become something bigger, right? It's not paying attention to what you're doing.
Yeah.
And most people don't pay attention, for example, like that, until they're in somebody's DM, and next thing you know, they're going to hang out, and next thing you know, they're cheating. That's how it happens, right? Or your mind on a daily basis is talking you out of doing what you want. And it seems like, oh, just today I don't feel good. My mind is talking me out of it. Okay, next day, next week, next month, next year, next few years. Then you wake up and I'm like, damn. Because I'm speaking out of experience. A few years later, you wake up and I'm like, damn. My mind played me. It's been 5 years. It's been 7 years. And I've been saying I'm going to do this thing and I haven't done it.
Yeah.
This is from firsthand experience. And I claim to be sharp. I practice sharpen your sword on a daily basis. There's not a day that passes that I don't sharpen my sword. Not one single day that passes that I don't sharpen my sword. So imagine a person that does not sharpen a sword.
Yeah.
Which leads me to another thing. The importance of sharpening your sword on a daily basis. Small things on a daily basis. Most of the population overlook this. And that's why we have weak men that have no self-control, that have no morals, that have no character, that have no strength, that have no honor, that have no pride. You know, because they don't see the importance and they don't maintain it to do it on a daily basis. The importance of doing it on a daily basis.
Yeah.
You know?
That's powerful. You know, there's one thing that this is like an epidemic. It's common, right? To me, like, it's not common. And I forget about it. Right? Like one time I was telling you, you're like, where Jill? Like, you've been around the academy, you've changed, and you forget how you once were. Right? And it was like, but what I'm talking about is like the sedentary life. Like people that do not work out. Like I was talking to the one guy at the gym, and God bless him, he joined because his son was training, and he joined. He thought it would motivate his son, and it really did. The importance of leading from the front. But we were talking. He was like, "Yeah, you know, like going from a sedentary lifestyle to now training twice a week, to now like lifting, and I'm dieting." And I'm like, and it's just something about the fact that he just said sedentary life. I'm like, damn, that's right. And I'm like, I saw this guy every week, and it never occurred to me, like, damn, he's not like moving. And I remember living like that, or like living like not exercising, right? Not working out, not always being in your mind and not in your body. And when you're like that, you are so susceptible to fall to your mind, because your mind, like, how can I explain it? It's like brain fog. It's like things just come up and you just go with it. Like you don't question it, or you don't have pure thoughts. It's all like they're like a shit show in your head.
Yeah.
You know. But when you're able to work out, it's like a reset. And then okay, let's go from it. That's why so many people like are hooked on jiu-jitsu, are hooked on working out. Like people that actually work out, not just mild discomfort, right? Just like no, it's not working out. Right? But actually push yourself to bring yourself from your mind into your body. That's a whole different you. And I've caught myself before, like from like Saturday, like the weekends, like I'm not as active, right? I spend all the time working. But I've noticed a big shift during the week when I do work out. Like you feel alive, you feel energized, you're aware. But if not, now imagine somebody that's sedentary. They're eating fast food. They're consuming politics. Like, bro, you got everything against you. Nothing going for you. Like, how are you going to be able to control yourself?
Yep.
And guide yourself and stay on the right path.
Yep.
When your mind isn't even clear.
I agree. You know, and that's the problem that we have with society, right? Is the sedentary lifestyle. It's easy. Who cares if I sit down right now? Who cares if I don't work out right now? Who cares if I don't move right now? You know? And so this will cause major consequences in the future. I'll tell you how. First of all, if you're a man, you're not going to be strong for your wife, for your career, for your family, for your kids. You won't. If you don't work out, you're not going to be strong. Okay? Second of all, your health is going to eat crap. Later on, you're going to pay the price. Guaranteed. You will pay the price. Especially with the food that we have these days, right?
Yeah.
You will pay the price. Third of all, who's going to follow your tracks?
She.
Who's going to follow your tracks if you're the dad or you're the man of the house? Your wife and your kids. So you can't expect your wife to be healthy, your kids to be healthy if you're not moving. I have dads, and this can kind of go into the macro, guys, also, is leading from the front, sharpening your sword as a dad, even as a mom, right? Because I was talking to somebody, and a lot of guys look at me like, well, this guy don't have kids, right? Like, how's he going to give us this advice? I'm like, bro, I've been coaching kids for 10 years, right? Like, I know a lot about the kid's mind. I know a lot about people's minds these days because of that, and studying it, right? And sharpening your sword. And I always tell them, it's like, how do you ask your kid to do something if you're not doing it yourself? How do you want your kid to be a man and be strong if you're not one yourself? People get upset when I say this, right? Because it's a 40-year-old man, a 50-year-old man. And the truth is, you're not a man. You're a male, but are you a man? Are you a strong warrior? Are you a strong man? Are you holding your ground on your morals and your character? Are you physically and mentally strong? Because if you're not physically and mentally strong, especially mentally strong, you can't lead your family. We're not fighting people all the day. We're not in the battlefield every day here in America. So you have to be mentally strong. When the bills come in and you're tight on money, you're not mentally strong. Your wife is gonna break down. Your kids are throwing a shit show in the house, or your kids are just wild as hell, and you have no control over it. You're gonna mentally break down. Your wife is gonna mentally break down.
Just they need Adderall pills. That's what they need.
And they put them on pills, right? And so that's why it's important. And this is, you may not see it at first in a relationship, and this is in personal, intimate relationships, and this is in business. And you've seen what I've talked about business relationships over the last couple of weeks, right? Of how things can spiral out of control. At the moment, it may not seem like a big decision or a macro choice until years later on. You have kids and you're not leading from the front. You're not sharpening your sword. You're not training jiu-jitsu. You're not taking care of the body. You're not taking care of the mind. You don't have a solid mind. You don't have a solid body, okay? Your kids are not going to have a solid mind. Your wife is not going to have a solid mind. Your wife is not going to have a solid body. Your kids are not going to have a solid body. What is the consequence of this? The consequence of this is, first of all, is going to be a lot of tension in the family because stress will happen, problems will happen, right? Your kids, as they grow older, they will be influenced by life. They will be influenced by technology, social media. They will be influenced by the kids in their school. They will be influenced by their friends and family. Even though they're your family, that doesn't mean they have the same ground as you do. So your kids are going to be influenced in one way or another. So now this is going to take them on their own journey. If they're not mentally strong, they will fall. This is from a mental mindset, a mental side. They will fall. Guaranteed. If grown men fall, a teenager will fall.
Yeah.
Boys and girls. You will have, pre-marriage children. You will have multiple baby mamas. You will have alcoholics. You will have drug addicts. You will have all these things.
Yeah.
You will have people that are cheating. You will have people that are addicted to corn. You know what I'm saying? You will have all these things that are happening. Why? This is the consequence of you not sharpening your sword. The macro consequence is your kids eat the shit later on. Okay? And this is from a mental side. Now, from a physical side, the kid's going to be a sloppy piece of crap that's weak. That is literally weak, right? And going to be unhealthy. He's going to have health issues, which we see today. How many kids we see today have health issues? Or always in the hospital, or always in the doctors? Always, nonstop, right? And so this is the consequence, right? People think that, all of a sudden my kids are bad. They come and tell me, like, Coach, I need your help. So-and-so is doing this. So-and-so is doing that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, bro, what are you doing? You can't just come here and throw them in jiu-jitsu or throw them in soccer and throw them in football and throw them in baseball. Is that what you do? Yeah, that's what we do. What are you doing? What are you doing as a role model, as a father, as a mother, for this kid to look at you? Plenty of dads I talk to that train jiu-jitsu, I tell them all the time, I'm proud of you and much respect to you because you are leading from the front. Your kid watches you. You are the hero in their life. You're doing healthy things. You're surrounded by healthy people. You're surrounded by strong men, and your boy's going to see that. Now, this kid is going to have a stronger foundation.
Yeah. Compared
to the average Joe that his dad doesn't do that. Now, you eat this crap 15, 20 years later on, 12, 14 years, when the kid hits the teenage years, right? This is where the problems arise. And so why did that happen? Because of the choices that you made when that kid was little. And all of a sudden you wake up 5, 10, 15 years later and wonder what the hell happened. Your choices made his life. Yeah. Every choice that you make will design your life.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? You said something that rang a bell to me. You're like, here in America, like, we're not, like, actually in a war, right? Not in physical America. Now, outside America, we are bombing the hell out of other people. But, for real, I think there was, like, over 10 countries we were bombing, and you never know. Like, countries you never knew about. But the point is, here in America, we're not in warfare, right? We don't get to experience warfare. But I will say though, there is war being waged on the American mind. There's all that. I generally do believe there's an opposition, right? And even if it's not the opposition, like you can say, oh, it's the devil trying to get you, trying to make you fall. However you want to say it, right?
It's the opposition, bro. Let's cut the lie, right? You're trying to be nice to these people, but be honest. We talked about this yesterday. How many? I don't mean to interrupt you, but you got me on a hot topic. How many strong men have we come across? Very few.
Yeah.
I will answer that. Very few. And we meet a lot of freaking people. People don't get to see the reality of it because they don't interact with them the way we do as coaches and as businessmen, as entrepreneurs. Okay? And they're not aware of the mind. So we see this. And I gave you this talk a couple days ago. This is a very rare number, guys, of seeing strong men and strong women. People are going to be upset. I don't care if you're upset. This is just truth. What Gio just said is true. They are waging war on the mind. They are breaking down the mind of the human being, of the man. They're breaking down the man. They're breaking down the woman. Okay? This is true, and I 100% believe it. And honestly, I'm actually very passionate about this because this is killing our society. America is the greatest country.
Amen.
Only in part of the situation, though. The other part of the situation nobody wants to talk to is our people are eating shit. What's the stat of mental health in our country? How many people commit suicide? How many people are on pills for mental health? They're struggling to just get by the day. How many people can't get off the couch? How many people stay in bed until afternoon? Mm-hmm. This is because they're tired? No, it's not because they're physically tired. They're mentally tired. Why? Because the food that they put out there, and they know about it. What they put on TV, what they put on social media, what they put on YouTube, what they put in the kids' shows at a young age. Nobody pays attention to this. Okay? So no, it's not just the devil. Of course it's the devil there, right? But this is also whoever is creating the society. This is what you can call it, a conspiracy. You can call it whatever the hell you want. This is for me, this is fact. This is guaranteed. There is an opposition to break down masculinity and to break down the feminine woman. Why? Because it creates division, it creates weak people, and you can't question nothing. That's why our kids are struggling. I have kids that I see that are like robots. I have kids that I see that are like zombies.
Yeah.
Most people don't pay attention to that. I pay attention to that. When I have a 6-year-old kid come into me and I talk to him and he's like a zombie, he doesn't know where the hell he's at. He can't even look me in the eyes. He can't even shake my hand. He can't even go through a 20-minute class, 30-minute class. How do you think I'm going to feel as a human being watching this? And what caused this? Let's look at what caused this. It's everything that's around us, and people are not worried about us. And this goes back to the micro choices that you allow your kids to do. To eat the junk food, to eat all these chemicals, to eat all these poisons, to put them in shitty schools, to put them around shitty people, to put them in shitty daycares, right? To put them around shitty family members also.
Letting the tablet raise them.
Right? Putting them on a shitty tablet. And then they end up with a shitty life. Why? Because it's the shit that you did every day.
Yeah. 100%, you know? And I remember the other day I was watching, I was going through my gallery. I needed to free up some space. And I had this picture of my little baby cousin. God bless her. She's like 10 now. And even as a little kid, she was on the tablet, bro. And I tell you, I felt so sad. I'm like, imagine little ass kid, like, the tablet, like, and nowadays she's super socially awkward. And you see that, and it was crazy to me because I fast forward 10 years, right? I looked at a picture 10 years ago. It was like a live picture. So you can see her eyes moving and the screen flickering. And then I look at her today, I'm like, damn, she's socially awkward as hell. She like doesn't know how to be around other people. And this is the warfare that's being waged, but it's so subtle. It's well, when you don't have control of your mind and you don't really stop to think, you don't see it, right? Because you're caught in it. But when like you step out of it, it's like, damn, bro, this is really what's happening. Like think about it, how many people get so emotional about political topics. Like it turns to a shouting match. Like you can't even disagree something political without it turning into a shouting match.
Yep.
Right? You can't even bring up like things about like nowadays like divorce topics or how relationships are not like they used to be without people getting offended. But there's never like a discussion. You know what? What did happen to old traditional America? Like one big thing for me, right? And people will be like, "Oh, but you're misogynist." But like, what happened to like nowadays? Like there'll be women like walking around like dang near no clothes on. Like, and we're supposed to be a Christian nation. We're supposed to be a Catholic nation, right? We're supposed to have decency and not expose that. But nowadays, all that is considered normal and is being pushed on women. And not only is it being pushed on women, but if you go to the girls section now, it's being pushed on girls for them like have a crop top and they can show their stomach and have short shorts. Like, what the hell is that? Like that alone is crazy, and we're accepting that. And if you bring that up, all of a sudden you're talking crazy if you bring that up.
Yeah.
But this is slowly being integrated to where you just accept it as normal. And so when we accept it as normal, right? Well, we know it's not normal, but when we let it happen, and our kids grow into that, they're gonna think that shit's normal. And so they're never gonna question it, like, why do you dress like that? Well, I always dress like this. And then I think it's crazy. Same thing like pills, right? Wait, why everybody taking pills? Like, well, it's like everybody's taking pills, so it's normal. Mm-hmm. But no one's questioning this. And like, where is this coming from? Like, what's the purpose? Like I said, it's to break society down. Why do they want strong men? No. Why do the goofy people online, right, get the most followers? Why don't the strong men, the men that advocate being strong, right? There are a few, and now there's a lot of imposters too, right? They're weak as hell. They don't even train martial arts. Why are those accounts not popular? Oh, they don't got millions. They only got hundreds of views, 100,000 of views. You know, because they don't want people to be strong. Yep. They want you to be weak as hell. They want you to be outraged and distracted, and just keep being a good boy, pay your taxes, and don't question the system. Mm-hmm. But this all happens from these micro decisions that you make. You know, you either take the good pill or the bad pill. Like you decide to wake up, but so many people, they're so asleep that they'll never see it.
And that's the sad thing about it, bro. Like let's not even talk about macro. Let's just talk about micro. That's a slow death, right? That's a death by 10,000 cuts, right? Because I've fallen to this at some point, right? Like I said, I want to do this. I want to do this. I keep pushing. I'm waiting for the perfect moment. I'm waiting. Fuzzing 7 years later, 8 years later, I'm like, damn, what did I do? I woke up. I'm like, bro, you've been pushing it for 7 years. You've been pushing it for 8 years. This is the big problem because these small ones, of course, the macro, the big ones have a huge difference on your life. But the ones that we deal with are the small ones on a daily basis. These are the ones that are going to really make your life up. Because this is a choice that you make every single day to better your life. The choice of your kid having that tablet, that's a daily choice. That's not a monthly choice. That's not a yearly choice. That's a daily choice. Okay? But the consequence for that daily choice is humongous.
Yeah.
The kid is socially awkward. Can't speak. Can't look you in the eyes. Can't shake your hand. Getting bullied. Mental health issues. Struggling mentally. Just from that little tablet. Causes all these major problems.
No attention.
No attention span. No focus. That little daily choice that you made on a daily basis affected him for the rest of his life. Or her life. This is what people don't pay attention to. The choice that you make every single day to reach your goals. To reach your goals. Your dreams, right? Your dreams, right? This is a big one for me. It's to go after your dreams. You have to make a daily choice every day. Daily effort toward your dreams every day. Those small choices that you make on a daily basis will decide if you have that dream 20, 30, 40 years later. The small decisions. Mm. Next thing you know, you're 56 years old, you don't have what you want. And the guy I told you about a few weeks ago, the CPA, he's 62. I said he was 60, he was 62. Mm. Right? And that's what he told me. I sat in his office last week again. And I sat with another guy. And they know a lot of people. A lot of guys. And he was like, man, it's very rare to see somebody your age doing this. Most guys get to our age and they still have not achieved what they want. You know? What does that tell you? This is like we talk about on the podcast every day. You know what I mean? You're going to wake up 60 years old regretting your life because of choices that you made. And these things that they told me, right? Intent, choice, daily choices that you make that lead you up to success, that lead you up to your dreams. Small, micro choices every damn day for years on end will get you to your dreams. To get you to the life that you want. Okay, these are small choices. Now the big choice is up to you. The big choice is obvious. Is it scary? Hell yeah, it's scary. Buying a house, moving a job, who you surround yourself with, who's your relationships. All these are big choices, right? A lot of people overlook these. The ones that people overlook mainly is the relationship one. They don't pay attention to this one, right? They get puppy love. They do what they got to do. They hook up. Next thing you know, they have a kid. Or they love each other because of the emotions, and the next thing you know, they don't love each other. That's a big one. The second big one is your career, right? Most people don't stick around these days, our generation. Most of them does not stick around long enough to get the benefit of that career.
Yeah.
So they may have an opportunity, but they never get to see the opportunity because they wanted the opportunity now. Not 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years later, right? I've been in martial arts over half of my life now. 16 years. Okay, over half of my life has been martial arts. Because, thank God. God bless, right? Mashallah. Because of that, now it's paying off. 16 years later, we had this conversation yesterday, right?
Yeah.
About that guy. 16 years later, nobody sees the work of 16 years. They see Mo, 29 years old, young. They don't see the damn work I did for 16 years.
Yeah.
Right? Most people don't get to see it because they don't go 16 years. They don't go 5 years. They don't go 10 years. Right? When it comes to the big choices. Buying a house. Where do you move? Do you move? Do you leave your city? Some people have to leave their city. They have to move. Some people can't do what they got to do because where they are, they're afraid to move. There might be an opportunity somewhere else, but that macro decision, that huge decision of getting up and moving, it will change their life, will alter their life. Most people, and 99, that's 9 out of 10 people, won't do it. Okay? Where do you buy your house? Where do you raise your family? Do you raise your family in inner city? Do you raise them in the suburbs? Do you raise them on a farm? Mm-hmm. You raise them on a homestead. Where do you raise your family? How do you raise your family? What is the life that you want to give them? Are you willing to do the work to make that big decision happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's badass. I remember my nephew was living with us, not living with us no more. But I remember I made small decisions to like, every time we rode in the car, it was like, I told him, you got to put your phone up and we're going to talk. It was like a 30-minute drive. And slowly, because I wanted the bosses to do it around. I'm not going to lie. Right? Because you want them to listen to you. But then, like, I was smart about watching you, right? And understanding, like, yo, you know what? You don't rule with an iron thumb. They have to know you. They have to respect you. They have to understand that you're not there to harm them. You're there to help them. And then, but nowadays, this dude, like, God bless him, he like genuinely loves me, right? And he looks up to me like a big brother, right? I'm his uncle, right? But he loves me so much. God bless him. And and he might think I love him too much because he's always asking me for money. But
I got a big ball of uncle. That's why.
Man, shit, he think because I'm gonna rapid sharpen your sword. But those are all small decisions. But I did those unconsciously. I just said, you know what? But looking back at it, right? I was like, man, you know what? That small thing, right? Where I actually listened to him, and he felt like he was heard, made him feel so connected. And his mom would tell me, she'd be like, he doesn't want to listen to nobody. He like, but you. She told me. And then I was sometimes like, why does he want to listen to me? I'm like, why does he listen to me, but he doesn't want to listen to his own mom or his own dad? I'm like, damn, because nobody has made the effort to get to know the kid and to listen to him and make him feel heard and seen. You know? And then when if you don't have an adult figure that'll make you feel heard and seen, then your peers will make you feel heard and seen. And then they'll influence you. And we know dumbass little kids don't know what's good for them. You know, they'll go robbing, they'll go chasing the high of getting in trouble. But outside of that, I want to say this about the war that's being waged on us. And it is being waged, big time. If you start paying attention, look at what they're pushing on Disney. Look at what they're pushing on cartoons. Like one thing I saw on my parents, God bless them, they didn't really pay attention. They went and bought my niece a book and a plushie, right? It's called Bluey. For the longest time, you associate blue with boys and pink with girls, right? Gender reveal. If it's a boy, what color are they using? Blue. If it's a girl, pink, right? Old school like cartoons. Blue is boy, pink is girl. Blue's Clues. That motherfucker was blue. Yeah. But there was this pink dog. She was a girl. I don't know what she was. I never watched it. But it was Bluey, right? And I was talking to her like, what is that? What is that show about? And she was like, oh, like what does he do? And she corrected me like, no, it's a her. Like Bluey is a girl. I'm like, what the fudge? Bluey is a girl. I'm like, it looks like a dude. Yeah. It looks like a boy. Everything boy. No characteristics of a girl. Like, no, like Bluey's a girl. And then I started looking up Bluey. Apparently Bluey is like big time, very popular. But look at that. Do you think that was by accident? Or do they want us to... They're already putting it in the kids. Hey, there's no difference between boy and girl. Right? And I don't want to go on to that fucking rabbit hole. But small things like that, you pay attention like, why are they pushing that? Why are they pushing Bluey that looks like a boy, that has characteristics of a boy, but it's a girl? Right? It's like, but my biggest point is, they want this disease, right? This disease, they want it to infect you. Because this disease is going to keep you from being the best version of yourself. The 2.0 version, right? The version that you really want to be, right? The version that's strong, that will be a great leader, that is dangerous, that follows the word of God, right? That is a good person. They don't want that. And like we always said, 2.0 version. You're going to go to heaven, either you're going to be identical, or you're going to be like, this is what you could have been. Yep. But that's the ultimate goal of that disease you're pushing. That infection of your mind. Is they want to prevent you from being the best version of you. Not just to perverse you and all this stuff, which it will happen. But it's to prevent you from being who you want to be. They don't want that.
Yes, sir. That's true, guys. I mean, the problem is the smaller decisions that end up being... that having a lot of magnitude, a lot of force in the future is, it goes back to one thing, to me, if you ask me. It goes back to the awareness of your mind, mental awareness. All right? Are you aware? Is your mind strong enough to be aware of what's going on in the world? Okay? Are these subtle things, like what we have the saying in Maya Masha Tahta Jirajam in Arabic, is the saying that the water is flowing under your feet and you don't notice it. Okay? The water is flowing under your feet and you don't notice it. Most of the world, the water is flowing under its feet and they don't notice it. So they're not aware of what's going on around them. They're not aware of these shows, these tablets, these news. You know, they're not aware of all this. And then they pay the price years later. Okay? So to me, I think one of the biggest ones, guys, is you have to be sharp. Because the sharper you are, the more aware you are. The more your body's capable and the more your mind is capable. This is just facts, okay? This is just facts, all right? And so it can be small things as some of the excuses that we use on a daily basis. I don't have time. How many people say I don't have time? What did we talk about working out today? Like, Gio, you still work out? Yeah, I work out, right? And then you're like, man, the problem is if you don't work out by a certain time, it's hard to do it, right? But what did I tell you?
You got to make time. You got to wake up early.
You got to wake time. You got to make up early. So you have time. I got into one of my brothers a few weeks ago. They go out and work out at night. I have a problem with this, right? I don't like it. They'll go at 9, 10 p.m., 11 p.m. And I'm like, bro, what are you doing? And one of the times, honestly, I was being a jerk, big brother, I guess. And I didn't let him go. Like, you're not working out tonight. You're just not going to do it. You know, like, I don't like you working out at night. I think bad things can happen at night. You're not going to work out. You know? And I pulled a work meeting. We got a work meeting, you know? 'Cause I knew I can make them safe for that. But something told me not to go let them work out that night, right? But anyways, like, no, we don't have time. So what time do you wake up? 7 a.m., 8 a.m. Get your tail up at 5 a.m. Get your tail at 6 a.m. Which billionaire you know is millionaire that works out 10, 11 p.m. at night? Give me one name. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
There ain't none. You know what I mean? So get up and make time. I don't have time to go after the goals I have. Yes, there's always time. We have 24 hours in a day. You guys sleep for over a third of it. Or a third of it. That's already too much. Okay, you got 2/3 of the day left. What are you doing with the 2/3 of your day? 16 hours. If you work for 8 hours at a job, let's say. Okay, you have 8 hours left. You have 8 hours to work on your goals. The hard part is waking up early. But if you start waking up early, you will get closer to your dreams. Okay?
Yeah.
So, I don't have time is one of the biggest dream killers. This is one of the biggest dream killers. I don't have time. Right? But this is two ways that you can do this. This is a double-sided sword. I don't have time is like pretty much saying I don't have time to work on it. That's one side of it. This is the majority of the population. I like to put myself in the other category. I don't have time. I'm running out of time. That means I have to do it now. So you pick which I don't have time you use.
I like that.
You know what I mean? Most people pick the I don't have time to do something they need to do. I say to myself, I don't have time, which means I need to do it. I'm running out of time. I'm running out of time, so I have to have urgency to go after my dreams. That's the way I look at it. I don't look at it as a negative thing, like I don't have time, so I can't work on this today. I don't have time to do this today. No, my thing is, I'm running out of time. I need to do this today. So you decide which one you want to be in. You know, the majority of people, I don't have time, so they don't want to do it. And these are the losers that I consider. These are the people that are not happy. They're not fulfilled. They're not following their passion. They're not happy. They have no fulfillment. They get to the deathbed with a list of regrets, a miserable life. I wish I did this. When I was younger, I wish I did this. But so many old people have told me this the last few weeks, right? And it's only fuel for me. It reminds me. It's hard. It's extremely hard. But these guys are reminding me. Every time I sit with these guys, they remind me. 62 years old. Gray hair. You know? Very nice guy. It's almost like I've known him forever. Letting me know that I wish. Because now he doesn't have time. He's on the other half of his life. He came over the slope. Right? Statistically.
Yeah. That's crazy. You know what's crazy? Those are like two sides of the same coin. I don't have time as an excuse to not do it. And I don't have time as a reason to do it. And that's badass the way you put it. And that's true, because you're always going to be like, people always say, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time. Till they get to the end of life and like, damn, I have no time now. That's very powerful. It's a very big mindset shift. And what's crazy is like, it's like when I was getting ready for competition, right? Oh, you get nervous, right? But it was like, nervous and excited are the same emotion. You just gotta know how to flip it. And that's the same concept there. You gotta flip it. It builds your mind. And I would say, like, honestly, with the day-to-day stuff, with the brain fog, with the war being waged, people, there's those zoomed in to the micro that they forget to zoom out. Like, damn, bro, you only got, on average, 80 years.
I'm going to look it up, because I don't think it's 80 years no more, bro.
I think it's like in America, it might be 76, 78.
I'm going to look up average men, because men died before women, right?
Yeah. But even on average, like, think about like what 70-year-old you know out there looking good?
Very rare.
For the most part, no. We had Mr. John on the podcast. God bless him. He took care of himself. He's doing good, damn good for a 84-year-old.
God bless him, bro. That's a G right there.
But most 84-year-olds in the retirement home.
The overall average in the United States, for men is 73, for women is 79.
What the
Men is 73,
fudge?
women is 79.
73?
73, bro.
How did we go down? It used to be like 80 something.
We went down because the food and the BS that we're consuming.
That's some bullshit. And look, 73, that's big thing. Like, how did we go? Because they were saying, oh, always like, with all this medicine, with the advance of technology and civilization, like, we're going to be living longer and more.
So I think that's what happened, is we were working toward that, and I think it came back down because of the food and the chemicals.
Yeah.
And the toxins. Because the age for cancer is getting younger. Cancer used to be like 50, 60, 70 years old.
Yeah.
You're seeing these guys die at 40, 35, 45, before 50. Right? God rest his soul. My uncle died. I want to say 56. Maybe 60. I don't know why I'm thinking 62, but I think 56 years old. From cancer. That's young. You know what I'm saying? And so it's only getting younger. And there's a study that came out. Colon cancer is going to be found in 30-year-olds in the future. 30-year-olds. So that means you're going to get a colonoscopy at 25, 30 years old. Instead of 50, which was the number, right? 50 was the number.
That shit is insane.
Gee, are we thinking?
Nah, damn. That's insane. You know, like 73. So what's the half of 73? 40, 80, 35.
36 and a half.
36, right? 36 and a half. 36 and some change. Damn, that's crazy. I'm like, well, now we're running even less at a time, right? And that's a damn shame. But I think that is one of the biggest mistakes and I think that was one of the biggest mistakes that I made as a young man. I was like 17 working and stuff and blowing my money on dumb stuff. And I'm like, I got time. Then I looked up 24 years old. I'm like, damn, where did all the time go? Where did 7 years of working go?
And I was looking up another stat. Was a few years after you retire, you die. I couldn't find the number, but this was a big one a couple years ago. People were talking about it. A few years after you retire, death.
So to play devil's advocate, should you work till the day you die?
Me personally, I probably am. To be honest with you, I probably am. I say that. I tell people I'm going to retire at 35. That's what I tell people. So I got 5 years, 1 month, and 6 days. You know? Until my retirement. That's what I tell people.
Yeah.
But I'm going to work till the day I die. I believe so, right? In a healthy way. Right now I'm just working the way I'm working because I have dreams to chase, right? But no, you shouldn't work till the day you die. That's my whole point. You should not. But you will work till the day you die. You know why? Because the way that you framed I don't have time. Because you said I don't have time to do it now, you're going to work till the day you die. But if you say I don't have time, like I tell myself, like God give me health, God give me life. Whenever my time is, my time is. I've honestly kind of like accepted this, right? I'm not afraid of it. I used to be afraid of it. I'm not afraid of it no more. If God gives me life, I have 45 more years to live. Mm-hmm. On stats. Per stat. But he may take me in 2 days. I don't know. Right? But I use it. I don't have time. I'm getting closer to my deathbed. I need to do it now. So if I have this mindset of urgency, of time skip, but you have to have a noggin on your shoulders. Because if you don't, it's going to eat you alive. Why? Because I'm fighting time. I'm racing against time. I'm racing against my mind. Every day I have a fight with myself. Most people can't have this fight. They're going to lose this battle. Because it starts consuming them. I'm running out of time. What do you mean? I'm going to die? Yeah, you are going to die actually. It's only a matter of time. You are gonna die. So would you rather have this urgency, like I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go? Like my mom used to always yell at me, because every time I could leave the house, I would act like I'm in a rush, right? I was always rushing, and she used to always tell me that's from the devil. She always used to tell me that, right? She's like, that's from the devil, and everything I did was like, let's go, let's go. I can't sit, I can't waste time. This is ever since like I really started going after my dreams, and she still tells me that, like even when we have our phone calls, she's like, just calm down, like what are you doing, right? I'm like, I don't have time. She's like, bro, you have a lot of time. You have time. And I'm like, no, I don't have time. So it depends on your mindset shift. If you have the mindset that I have, that I don't have time, you will get closer to your goals, because you're trying to make it happen now. But if you say I don't have time and you don't work on your goals, you will work to the day you die, because you're gonna wake up and you're 60 years old. You're gonna wake up, you're 55, you're 65, you're 70. And what's gonna happen? That's the deathbed. That's it.
Yeah. And that's how the seeds infects your brain. It's like it infects a little bit and it starts eating away at you. I don't have time. Or like, oh, I don't have time. Or I can't do it. Or that's how I'm made. That's how I'm wired, right? I can't do it. One of the things that obsesses me the most in martial arts is when people say I can't, right? Or a kid is struggling to get out from bottom, right? They're struggling in martial arts and they're like, I can't. I'm like, yes, you can. Just keep trying. Right now you're stuck, but just keep trying. You're eventually gonna find a breakthrough, but don't ever say I can't.
Yep.
And you know what's funny? There was this thing that came up. Though there was this a lot of the UFC champions, right? Like a big percentage of them, of the UFC champions, they all had a fascination with death. Fascinated by death, right? And because they understood, it was like, damn, like I'm gonna fudge and die. Like what am I gonna do with my time on this earth? And like there's no coincidence that was a common thing amongst them, right? It's like they're like I don't have time. I gotta fudge and make it happen. I gotta give my ass up, even though I'm hurting. I gotta do it, even though I don't feel like it, you know? And that was just a common factor among all those champions, which is something very difficult to achieve. And then, like I said, you lose track of like, damn, fudging, all these years pass by. You look up, damn, I'm starting to get wrinkles. Damn, I'm starting to fudging get bags. What happened to the twinkle in my eye, right? Do you still believe your dreams can happen?
Yeah.
Or like, I've encountered so many people like, that like, since they didn't believe their dreams can happen, not only they become haters and they don't encourage people to chase their dreams, right? Because they themselves believe, or they'll be like, or that's foolish for you to pursue that, because they think because they couldn't do it or because their dreams couldn't happen for them, they think that's just how life is.
Yep.
And the only way you make it happen is you get lucky, and that's it. Mm-hmm. You know, ain't no fudging. Lower the harder you work, the luckier you get, right? But it all comes down to you.
Yeah, that's very powerful, Gio. Very powerful. Think of things that you guys have done that have changed your life, right? One of the ones that I always have this moment, and it makes me sad, honestly, right? I used to always talk to Gio about this. It's like, imagine if we weren't here. Like, imagine if I didn't train jiu-jitsu, or if I didn't open an academy. I wouldn't be sitting here with Giovanni, right? So why am I sitting here with Giovanni? Why am I sitting here with the knowledge that I know, or the people that I know, or the success, or the accolades, whatever it is that I have, right? It's because I made a decision at a very young age. Most people can't make a decision at a very young age. So one of the small choices that I made that made a big difference in my life, that really changed my whole life, right, is martial arts. I always tell people, it doesn't matter how successful I get, wealth-wise, you know, success and, you know, fame and accolades. Doesn't matter how successful I get, I will never be able to pay martial arts back. Even if God gave me 200 years to live, and I work day and night for 200 years, I will never be able to pay martial arts back, specifically jiu-jitsu. Okay, it's not possible, because what jiu-jitsu has given me is something that is invincible the right word?
What?
Invincible, like plentiful. I'm trying to use.
I got a vocabulary.
I don't know why I'm trying to use big words. I'm not a.
Abundant.
Let's just use abundance. All right. I don't know why I try to sound smart sometimes. But what jiu-jitsu has given me, guys, is I can't repay it. I try every single day, honestly. But it was a choice that I made when I was a teenager, was to train with my professor, okay? And it was extremely hard to go train. It was like I had so many things that I struggled with, but I went to train. My job was to just go to the gym, go to the academy and train. That's all it was. And then day after day, going to train, being disciplined and going to train, wanting to get better, wanting to get stronger, wanting to get sharper. From a 14-year-old kid to a 29-year-old man, my life has changed in ways that I've never expected it to change. But it was the small decisions that I made on a daily basis to sit at home, eat potato chips, and say I don't have time and be lazy, or to go to the academy and train. It was a small choice, okay? Now that turned into me becoming obsessed with martial arts, training jiu-jitsu, becoming a jiu-jitsu black belt, fighting MMA, meeting thousands. I've met thousands of people, guys. It's unbelievable how many people I've met. Thousands, okay, of people I met because of martial arts, because of jiu-jitsu, because of MMA, because of being a martial artist, because of traveling. The amount of traveling, the amount of people I've met, to opening my academy, to being a professor, to being a coach, to meeting all these good people like Gio and all the people that I know at the academy, all the people that I've had, the opportunities I've had, the travel opportunities, the business opportunities, all of this from one small choice of waking up, going to school, coming home, and deciding whether I'm going to go train or I'm not. And here I am 16 years later, sitting with, you know, my student, my friend, my coach, my partner in business, my friend in the academy, the guy that runs the academy. Why? Not because I'm smart, right? But because of making a small choice of going to martial arts at 14 years old, to opening an academy, to meeting you. Can you think of that? That little choice have changed the whole direction of my life. And here's the crazy thing about it. Not just my life. For the next few generations. That little choice of me going to train has changed generations to come's direction. Because the generations that are going to come up are going to know sharpen your sword. They're going to breed sharpen your sword. I'm going to breed sharpen your sword. I'm going to raise sharpen your sword. I'm going to raise jiu-jitsu black belts. I'm going to raise martial artists. I'm going to raise strong men. Yeah. Right? But why did it happen? Because of that small choice of going to train martial arts. And most people can't play the long game. This game wasn't for me to train for a month, 2 months. I told myself I would train to the day I die. I've always told myself that. Somebody asked me yesterday. It's a son of one of my friends. And he started training, and I've been talking to this kid a lot. He's 13 years old. And he said, Coach, we were sitting in class yesterday. He said, Coach, how long are you going to train jiu-jitsu? He asked me this yesterday. And it's funny, right? He's looking at me as an old man. He's a young teenager. And I said, buddy, I'm going to train to the day I die. I'm going to roll to the day I die. You know what I mean? And I mean it. I'm not just saying it, right? And so I'm trying to get him to understand and try to get other young men to understand is you have to play the long game, right? And the thing with our society, it goes back to the micro again. Everything's connected to the micro, guys. Is most men, I keep talking about men. I'm not going to talk about ladies, get them upset or whatever. Most men cannot play the micro game for the long term. Most of these guys want instant pleasure, instant gratification, instant dopamine. And when I say most, I'm talking about 9.9 out of 10 guys. And I'm not exaggerating. I see this firsthand. I've witnessed this firsthand, okay? They cannot do something for a year. They cannot stay in a relationship for a year. They cannot stay in a job for a year. It's usually months. Within a year, it's done. So you're going to ask somebody to put in 10 years of work, 15, 16 years, 20 years of work, when they're 15, 16, 17, 20 years old, 25 years old, 22 years old? They're not going to do it. Very few people will do it. This is something that we've lost. I was talking to a very successful businessman, and I was asking him about his employees and all that. And he's like, yeah, so-and-so has been with me 20 years. So-and-so's been with me 25 years. So-and-so's been with me 30 years. So-and-so's been with me 15 years, 12 years, 10 years. I'm like, damn. Where has that gone?
Yeah.
Right? You don't see that no more. Like I said, you see 10 months, 12 months, 6 months. Relationships, you see 6 months, 5 years, 6 years, 2 years, 1 year, year and a half. You know, business relationships and intimate relationships. Okay? And so most people can't live the micro decisions on a daily basis to get the macro results, to get the dreams. What is one thing I told you about your career when you first started?
I don't know. You told me a lot of things.
About becoming a wizard. Do you remember that?
Oh, it was like when you become a wizard, then the money comes. But it takes a long ass time to become a wizard.
You know, one of the first things I told Gio was when you become a wizard in your craft, everything comes along. The success comes along. Okay, but in order to become a wizard, I align it with jiu-jitsu. Okay, the average jiu-jitsu black belt is 10 years minimum. Average jiu-jitsu black belt is 10 years. If you can't put in 10 years, guys, you can forget about it. If you can't put in 10 years, you can forget about it. Now, have some people done it in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, have seen success? Yes. Average across the board is going to be 10 years. Most people cannot put 10 years of work in. So you will never see the results. Okay? So keep that in mind when you're looking at something like that. But that's one thing, guys. The choice I made on just going to train for an hour a day has led me here 16 years later.
Yeah.
You know, so you don't know the outcome until you do it. And that's the power of small choices on a daily basis, right? Your choices equal your life. And these choices are small choices, subtle choices that you make every single day, every single week, every single month, every single year. Next thing you know, the result of those choices will give you the life that you have. Whatever those choices will give you that life.
100%. Last thing I'll say is like a great metaphor. Is that the same way that a bricklayer builds a house brick by brick, you can only build your life brick by brick, one decision at a time, one day at a time.
That's it. You know, some things we're gonna wrap up, guys, and I want you to think of this. I want you to think of this and write these down, okay? Before reacting, ask yourself, what does this choice lead to? So every choice that you make, every choice is going to be hard, but think of it as the choices that you make on a daily basis and ask yourself, if I make this choice, what is the result of this choice? What is the outcome of this choice? Okay? Think of this of the major choices of each day. You make a choice every single day. What is the outcome of this choice? For me personally, I'm aware of this all the time. I had a talk with Gio. I was out of town for a while, and Gio called me about something, and then he questioned what I told him, but he didn't question it in a bad way. He just asked, he questioned it in a way like, Mo, like why, right? And I explained to him why. And the last few days, what have we seen? We've seen the outcome of that choice.
Mm-hmm. It unraveled.
You know? It unraveled. You want to talk about an example of that?
I don't have an idea of one.
But that choice that was made 2-3 weeks ago unraveled in our face yesterday. Right? Did it unravel in a good way? Did it unravel in a bad way?
In a bad way.
You know, it unraveled in a bad way. At first, it didn't make sense to Gio. And I told him on the phone, like, hey, bro, like, 1, 2, 3 can happen. 1, 2, 3 can happen from what just happened right now today. And I was across the damn country. I wasn't even nowhere near him. He just called me and he let me know what happened. And I said, this is what's going to happen, Gio. These 3 different options or a few different options. And lo and behold, here we are 3 weeks later. It unraveled in our face. Is it something that we can't control? No, it's not. But the point is, because of that one choice, we're dealing with the consequence. So choices, you have to think about what's the outcome of these choices. Gio now sees the outcome of that choice that happened 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So what does that tell you about your daily choices?
Yeah, it always goes back to you got to think 5 steps ahead.
You know, that was the other thing we talked about. You have to think 5 steps ahead. We always talk about that. We talked about this a while ago on a podcast. Is being ahead of the curve. If I make this decision today, this is the decision I make today. What is this decision gonna do? I need to be ahead of this 5 steps. I know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To the best of my ability and the best of my knowledge, this is what the outcome is going to be. If I do this action. Do you guys think that way? I will answer it for you. Most of you guys don't. Because most of you guys aren't aware. This is just me being real. Not a negative way. Don't get your panties in a wad, okay? But I want you to think about this. I want you to be mentally aware. I want you to be awake, okay? So think about your choices. What is the result of my choices? What is the outcome going to be? And write it down. And do this for a few weeks, months, and see. Now this is going to open up your brain. This is going to open you up. You're going to have a lot of growth from this, okay? The other thing I want you to ask, this is a very big one, especially for the younger generation, all right? For men and women, boys and girls. Does your choice match your value and your goals? The choice that you are making, does it match up with your values and does it match up with your goals? And I'm going to scratch goals. Take goals out of this. Your dreams. Are goals and dreams kind of the same? Yes. But dreams are that thing that you had when you were a kid. You had that twinkle in your eye and you dreamed about it. You craved it. You want it so bad. Like that's your fulfillment. Okay? The choices that you make on a daily basis, does it align with your values? Does it align with your morals? Does it align with your character? And does it align with your dreams? For me personally, when I make a choice, I look at this. Now, sometimes I have to also look at it, does it align with my business? Okay? But I'm not breaking my values. I'm not breaking my core character and morals for nothing. So my choice has a lot to do with that. Does your choice have something to do with that? And write it down. And think about it when you make a choice. Am I going to do something unethical that's going to go against my values from a choice? No. Are you aware of that? Or do you realize later on that the decision that you made, the choice you made was not you? It was not part of your values and the morals. Okay? We all make mistakes, but if you do it, you got to be aware of it, guys. Okay? Can you choose long-term over short-term comfort? Are you wanting right now, to be comfortable right now? Or do you want to be comfortable over the longer period of time, the long term? That's another one I'll answer for you. Most of you young guys want it now. You want instant gratification now instead of delayed gratification. This is another one. You have to be in for the ride for the long term, for 10, 15, 20 years. That's hard, okay? But that's where success happens, guys, over the long period of time, okay? Gio, is there anything else you want to add?
That's it, man. You can either choose the discipline, you can either choose the pain of discipline or the pain of comfort.
That's it. Very powerful. Guys, I want you to make a list of your decisions that you make every day. Just the small ones. Forget the macro, right? You can also make macro. If I buy this house, what is the outcome? If I move here, what is the outcome? If I make this business relationship or make this relationship, what is the outcome? If I hang out with these friends, what is the outcome? These are the big ones, right? My career field, what is the outcome? But I want you to have a list of the decisions that you make on a daily basis, some that you do every day. I get up and I go work out every day. I get up and I go sharpen my sword every day. I get up and I go teach jiu-jitsu every day. I get up and I go to work every day. Make a list of these small things over a month. Do it for 30 days and see what is the results that you get from these micro decisions, micro choices. Okay, on a daily basis. Guys, you are one choice. Keep this famous quote in your head. You are one decision away from a better life every single day. You're one decision away from a better life every single day. You are one decision away from a better life every single day. Okay, that's a very powerful quote. Your choices equal your life, guys. The decisions, the choices that you make on a daily basis will give you the life. So your life is the result of the choices that you make. Okay? Your life is the result of the choices that you make on a daily basis. That's what gives you your life. Okay? There's nobody to be upset at. There's nobody to blame. There's nobody to point fingers. These are things that you have to decide. These things that you have to pay attention to. These are things that you have to be aware. And if you're not sharp, and if you don't sharpen your sword on a daily basis, you're not going to be aware, and you're not going to be able to catch these things, or you may not be able to execute these things. Okay? But your choices equal your life, guys. So, like always, sharpen your sword so you can be better for yourself. You can be stronger for yourself. Because if you're not, you can't help nobody else. Okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Let us know what you think. Think about your choices, because it will create the life that you dream of. All right? Every choice has a consequence, whether it's good or bad. All right? So sharpen your sword for yourself, for your family, for your community, and for your country. And I'll see you on the next episode of Sharpen Your Sword podcast. Peace out.